Here we are talking to our great friend Midori, who's back at IRIS Orchestra this weekend for the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto. It's a thrill to have you back. I'm so happy to make music with you here again. Just off the bat, and I've asked this question to other people, when we play at IRIS, we don't discriminate because of the size of the orchestra in terms of repertoire. So we've done Brahms Concerto, we've done Mozart Concerti, and everything in between, Bach Concerti and, Tchaikovsky. When you play the Mendelssohn with 14 or 16 first violins, or when you play here with 7 or 8, do you change your approach?
I think the basic approach doesn't change, but there are definitely, I think, some adjustments that one has to make. I try to actually always keep the orchestra small.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In this piece?
In this piece, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of classic era in this piece, of course.
Right,
Yeah.
I asked for a classical orchestra size.
Oh, well then it's sort of normal.
So.
I mean, for me, there are so many different approaches, and I love the way you play this piece. I love the flow of it. I love the incredible sentimentality of it, the emotion without it becoming mawkish. It doesn't get bogged down. The second movement flows so beautifully. It is, and of course, because of all the ensemble in the third movement, you have to play it like chamber music. Of course, you can say that almost about every piece of music, I suppose. Maybe not a Bruckner symphony, but in a way, yes. But in this piece, particularly with a smaller group, you're able to hear things and to do that. So that's for me. But that's a very interesting thing that you always ask for a scaled down orchestra. That's good. I mean, you must have learned this piece when you were, I don't know, in the womb.
No, I learned it when I was 7. First.
7.
Yeah.
Sure.
But then it was very different back then.
Is it? Well, of course.
It was very, very different. And I think what's really right now interesting for me about this concerto is that, we have now these fancy Variwriter, Urtext editions that we didn't have. I didn't have it when I actually first started to learn it. And, there was a switchover that I, at one point made. And I think I made 2 switchovers, from, the first time I learned it to, just some years later, and then finally to the Urtext edition.
Right.
And now I'm seeing that the younger generation of the players, having learned straight from the Urtext edition, and it's a totally different mindset. We became more the, sort of the Urtext edition.
Right.
Whereas some of the younger players, this is the edition.
They never knew anything else.
Right.
Right.
And it's very interesting, and I think that we still hear this concerto in a rather traditional way, or whatever you like to call it.
Well, let's talk about that,
nice
because
mixture now.
Well, the opening is always so. I mean, it's so beautiful, but there should be this kind of agitated, appassionato feeling. And for a long time, many people played it much more slowly, and it was kind of sedate, and you rightly push that agitation, if you will. But the last movement, the scherzo, which, like all Mendelssohn scherzos, really flies, actually shouldn't be so fast that you can't hear the notes, and that's also your approach. Just talk. Was that the way you were taught? I mean, you had a few teachers. Dorothy DeLay, for instance. Did she teach this piece differently? And did you? I mean, I know that you've evolved since then. I'm just curious because now you're so renowned as a teacher. When you teach this piece, I suppose you could change your approach. You change your approach for every student, but you change your approach if somebody's learning it for the first time, or if somebody is bringing it back for some reason. Just talk a little bit about what your feeling is about how to get inside this music and transmit that to a young person who's discovering it without the benefit of all these years of experience that you have.
Well, I think it's always interesting how, a person actually approaches it for the first time. And as you said, we have to take it from there, always. But it seems that, this is a very special piece. It's a very unique piece, and everyone has a very personal take on it. And, I think the way we feel time also changes as we get older. And of course, the tempo starts to change. The way we breathe changes. So, in that sense, it's always going to be information. But I do feel that there's so much more just in ourselves, and especially in the younger generation, this feeling of the classical way of playing. It's not just from this particular concerto, but just all around from early music specialists, and that has become so available to us in so many different ways, and whether we practice it actively or not, it's very much in the back of our minds, and it's even more so for a young player.
Right. Well, it's beautiful to hear you play, to breathe on stage with you through this piece is fantastic. We're so thrilled that you're back with IRIS Orchestra. You'll come back again.
Thank you.
Thank you.